What if Hinata was on Team 7? Would this even change the Naruto story? Well, the short answer is of course it will, but not exactly how you're thinking. So if you want to find out my interpretation of what would happen if Hinata was on Team 7, well, stick around to the end of the video. Everything would start off in Iruka's point of view, saying Team 7's names for the first time. Naruto Uzumaki, Sasuke Uchiha, and Hinata Hyuga on Team 7. And upon hearing this news, Ino and Sakura would truly feel depression for the first time in their lives. Just kidding. But seriously though, Hinata would be over the moon excited, and eventually we get the introductions, with the only change here being that Hinata says she wants to become a powerful kunoichi to protect a certain someone. And eventually, we're going to be skipping to the bell test, where things would finally begin to actually change, because in the original, once Naruto gets caught with a trap from Kakashi, Sakura does nothing. But this time around, Hinata would immediately rush in to try to save Naruto and make sure that he's okay, and when doing so, she surprises everyone with how skilled she is in hand-to-hand combat, but obviously would still lose to Kakashi. However, this would mark the beginning to a chain of events that are to follow. This time around, her presence being there will be a huge help on the missions, because let's be honest, she's a lot more useful than Sakura. Plus, we get to see Naruto and Hinata's relationship flourish in an organic way, and because of this, Hinata this time around, over the course of the next 2 weeks worth of D-rank missions, would finally get over her weird personality that she would portray every time that Naruto would come around. So eventually she would become comfortable enough to speak to Naruto, only a few words though at a time. Plus, we don't have to deal with Sakura's annoying fangirling. And eventually, the Land of the Waves mission would roll around the corner. And this mission would have mainly 3 changes to it. Number 1. When the Demon Brothers would attack, Hinata would protect Naruto, and Naruto would still get picked on by Sasuke, calling him a scaredy cat, as well as having Naruto make his iconic promise. Number 2, Hinata would help Naruto to learn tree walking a lot faster than usual, helping him out a ton, making Naruto beat Sasuke this time around. And number 3, Hinata this time around would step in the way when Haku would trap Naruto and Sasuke in the Ice Mirror Jutsu, leaving Tazuna and using her rotating palm jutsu, jumping in the way to counter Haku's Senbon that would be thrown at their direction. And this would be her first major display of truly putting her life on the line, not just for Naruto, but for Sasuke as well, showing that she won't just let them do everything on their own, she's gonna help. But ultimately, I see her still running out of chakra and being tagged by needles, causing Naruto to go crazy, tapping into the power of the Nine Tails and ultimately defeating Haku just like he would in canon, leading to the eventual defeat of Gato and the mission success. After those events follow, the Chunin exams will take place, and here, changes actually don't really take place. If I did have to say though, I'd say Naruto and Hinata's friendship grows over time, with Naruto being completely oblivious to Hinata's feelings, and once we get to the Chunin exam's main arc, the real changes would finally begin, with Naruto standing up for Hinata during the introduction of Neji after Sasuke gets mollywopped by Lee. And once Neji and Tenten would arrive and Neji would begin to disrespect Hinata, I can definitely see Naruto standing up for Hinata and basically promising to shut Neji up, telling him that anyone who messes with my friends messes with me. Got it? As from here, we get the usual events of the story, and eventually, Team 7 would find themselves up against Lord Orochimaru, where things actually remain the same, considering at this point, Hinata can't really contribute much in the effort to defeat Orochimaru. Instead, I see this as an opportunity for her to realize her weakness and want to become more powerful so she won't be useless to Naruto, and so, I can see her healing Naruto and Sasuke in the cave just like Sakura did. However, when the Sound Genin arrive, Hinata isn't about to start biting them or even cutting her hair off. Nah, Hinata's going to be throwing straight hands, but she still loses. I mean, even Lee almost lost to Dosu in their insane sound jutsus. So I think that just like in canon, she would get assistance, and eventually they make their way to the tower where she faces off against Neji and loses. But this time around, when she would be getting beat by Neji, I can see Naruto like gripping the metal sidebar, crushing it in his hands, as he just can't bear to watch this happening, as with each blow being landed on Hinata, the Ninetales aura begins to creep out of Naruto slowly, as eventually it would burst through him and he would lunge in there, saving Hinata before she can get the final blow, even faster than the Jonin, as he would put her on the ground, turning to Neji with a stare of just like, "I'm gonna kill you," and would be about to end bro's whole career until the Jonin would jump in and save Neji from getting touched. And after this, I definitely see Naruto in the infirmary waiting on Hinata and training even harder than in the original for his battle against Neji, which goes by just like in canon, and so would every event of the Chunin exam, including the Tsunade arc, which since Hinata is out of commission, nothing much would change here, but the real changes would come after Sasuke abandons the leaf, and Naruto would be in the hospital after his clash with Sasuke during the Sasuke retrieval arc. This is where I can see Hinata and Naruto making a promise to bring Sasuke back, and here's where events heavily begin to actually change, and let me explain why. Hinata this time around, because she's a part of Team 7 and got to know Sasuke, if even for a little bit, grew fond of him, and she feels like she's done nothing to help the team ever since her fight with the Sound Genin, which she knows she would have lost if nobody had helped her. So she would vow to grow stronger, and the next time Naruto and Hinata see each other, they each grew exponentially, with Hinata getting some Sasuke level gains. In canon, we get to see Sakura pull up after the time skip and basically get splash damage punches. Those things are literally small bombs, but now we're going to be giving that to a gentle fist user, one of the best taijutsu users in the series. Like, come on now, this is about to be the Hinata show. We might as well change the name of this to Hinata, because she's about to go crazy, seriously insane. Oh, and did I mention she would also become a GOAT with medical ninjutsu and even get the 100 healings jutsu? Yes, no, maybe? Well, she does, and it's just absolutely insane how strong she gets because of this. And Naruto, well, he gets his own lame upgrades. Bro basically just grows taller. Once Naruto returns to the village though, I can definitely see Naruto running into Hinata and her blushing super hard after not having seen her for such a long time. But I can definitely also see Naruto hugging her and Hinata straight passing out. And eventually, we would jump cut to them being told about the bell test, and them easily passing with their teamwork, using Naruto's abilities that he would have learned over the 3-year time skip, as well as Hinata's insane gains that I've already mentioned, would easily be able to get the bells. And after this would happen, we would eventually get the Kazekage mission, which would come around, and when this mission comes around, it would be a massacre, an absolute stomp on Sasori. In the original, Sakura was able to defeat Sasori, right? With the help of Lady Shiho, but here, Hinata shows off her insane gains and would mollywop Sasori. It's bad, seriously. My boy Sasori is a long-range fighter, but not only that, but Hinata has the Byakugan, which has been growing even more powerful by the second, and she would use her Byakugan to pinpoint Sasori's weak spot and make him pay for it. And as for Naruto, well, the same thing happens, and ultimately, Lady Chiyo dies for Gaara to live. After this takes place though, we jump into the introductions of Sai and Yamato, and we get the Tenshi Bridge mission, which actually changes a lot, because once Naruto loses control of himself and forces Orochimaru to retreat, Hinata this time around, not being as weak as Sakura, wouldn't get knocked out by one of Naruto's like tails, and Hinata and Yamato would easily be there to calm him down. And once this happens, what would follow would be that they end up going after Sai, who would have betrayed them, and Hinata using her Byakugan would easily be able to locate Sasuke. So the team would find him, and eventually Sasuke would beat up Naruto, Yamato, but would notice Hinata was actually keeping up with Sasuke a lot better than anyone else, and notes this as he basically tells her that she's grown a lot stronger, lifting his hand up and saying, "but not strong enough," as he begins to try to charge up a Kirin Blast, but would be stopped by Orochimaru. as they would retreat like in canon, and Naruto in this moment would just look at the ground pounding it as he says he's gonna be vowing to get stronger, saying that the next time he meets Sasuke, he's gonna return him to the leaf. And after this happens, we return to the Hidden Leaf Village where Naruto would go on to learn the Rasen Shuriken, and Hinata continues her own training on her own, and would even ask Hiashi Hyuga, her father, if there's more to the Byakugan, as he would tell her about the evolution. Keep in mind, y'all, this is not a canon thing. I just want to level the playing field with the Sharingan and the Byakugan. It's something that personally I've always wanted to do, and with the fact that the Sharingan and Byakugan were told to be rivals at the beginning, but then at the end nothing happened, I kind of want to fix that with the story, so that's what I'm going to be going for right here. Anyways, after this, he tells her only one Hyuga member in all of history has ever unlocked the evolved Byakugan, and it was at a very old age, so the abilities are still a mystery, but there is a way to evolve it, and so Hinata would pursue this. While this is happening, Naruto would master the Rasen Shuriken, destroying Kakuzu, and eventually Jiraiya would die after embarking on his mission to go after the Akatsuki leader. Oh, and also, Sasuke kills Itachi. But with these events passing, eventually Naruto learns of Jiraiya's death, and Hinata would really be there for Naruto, helping him feel a lot better, as here, Naruto develops feelings for Hinata, realizing she's always been there for him, and eventually after this, he learns Sage Mode like in canon, and returns to the village during the pain attack, as he would arrive and see Hinata already getting down, and having destroyed one path of pain, so when Naruto enters, he would immediately land on another, destroying it, and so Naruto and Hinata go on to use their full powers to tag team Pain and ultimately defeat him, with Hinata using her 100 healings jutsu to keep up, and Naruto and Hinata using their teamwork would get down, as after this, Naruto uses his Sage Mode to track Pain, and once this happens, he would talk no jutsu him just like in canon, as eventually after all this, he would be hailed as the hero of the village, and Hinata would be super proud of Naruto. After this would come to pass though, the 5 Kage Summit would go down, where Obito would declare war, and Naruto would run into Sasuke again, trying to get him to return to the village, but Sasuke would ultimately retreat with the help of Obito as he gets the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and eventually Naruto would be shipped off with Killer Bee to Turtle Island, where Naruto would learn KCM, and eventually the events of the war begin to take place almost the same. Because keep in mind, Naruto isn't any weaker than in canon, nor is he stronger, so events legit don't change until we would get to the point in which Naruto would almost be hit by an attack from Obito, which originally Neji dies from. But this time, Hinata using her 100 healings air palm would completely deflect it, changing the course of history as we know it, and Naruto, Hinata, and Sasuke, who would arrive to the battlefield after deciding to basically protect the village, would be charged with the fighting of Madara for a little bit, as Kakashi during this all would be facing Obito in the Kamui dimension, and the 3 of Team 7 would actually end up handling Madara very well, until Obito would arrive and absorb the Ten Tails, and then Naruto and Sasuke would be charged with trying to defeat Obito, which they do, using Naruto's Talk no Jutsu in the end, but after this, Madara would get a hold of a Rinnegan and be revived, as this would begin to change the course of the battle. Naruto and Sasuke would then be killed, and Sasuke would be killed off screen, but Naruto would die right in front of Hinata, as he would have the 9 tails ripped out from his body, and as soon as Hinata sees this, she just falls to her knees in such great despair, as in this moment, she would evolve her Byakugan into the Tenseigan, as she would stand alone to fight Madara in tears, and Might Guy this time around wouldn't have to use his 8 gates, because Hinata this time around would actually be able to handle Madara very well. And by that I mean she would be able to hold him off just long enough, and not only hold him off, but actually beat on him just the way that Might Guy would have done so in the original, long enough for Naruto and Sasuke to get their Sun and Moon Seal power-ups from the Sage of Six Paths as they arrive to the battlefield, only to see Madara, who would have absorbed the Tree of Might, and Hinata would be struggling against him. But once Naruto and Sasuke would arrive after their power-ups, they would go on to jump Madara, and normally, I'd say Madara would beat Naruto and Sasuke. But this time around, we not only have Naruto But we also have Hinata here with the Tenseigan, an ability that doesn't even come out later and was actually able to keep up with the Sage of Six Paths Naruto in the last movie. But we also have Hinata having access to the 100 healings, with Naruto obviously getting his Sage of Six Paths mode, and Sasuke his Rinne Sharingan and Moon Seal. And with this, I think they would ultimately be able to defeat Madara and even prevent Kaguya's resurrection, as Zetsu would be destroyed by Madara before he could betray him as he should have in the original, and the ninja world would be saved, all thanks to Hinata being on Team 7.